Hi, Horizon. I've entitled this devotion, I Am and I Will, the Promise of God. Recently, I felt prompted to be determined in my pursuit of seeking the promises of God above the promises of this world, even more to seek the promises of God in my communion with Him and not, of course, outside of Him. And to help me out there, I've been reading about God's promises to, for example, Abraham and to the Israelites. For example, I am your shield, I am your reward. I will make a name for you. I will give you an inheritance. I will fight your battles. I will bring you to a promised land. I will gather you. I will destroy evil. I cling to the hope in those things as I'm in communion with God. And so for Advent, as we were to pick a favorite teaching of Jesus, I decided to pick a teaching that focused on the idea that He fulfills Scripture, He does what He says He's going to do, and that perhaps alluded to a promise of His. So I'm going to read from Luke 4:14 through 21, or 18 through 21. And this is where Jesus is quoting Isaiah, and he's talking inside the synagogue. Jesus says, "The Spirit of the Lord is on me, because He has anointed me to preach good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, to release the oppressed and proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." Then he rolled up the scroll, gave it back to the attendant, and sat down. The eyes of everyone in the synagogue were fastened on him, and he began by saying to them, "Today this scripture is fulfilled in your hearing." I like this because, again, it talks about the fulfillment of Scripture. God places a big importance on doing what He says He's going to do so we can trust Him. And in those verses there, we get just a glimpse of the fact of the things that He says He will do. Good news to the poor. For those of us who feel like we've got nothing to bring to the table but just a desire to trade our ways for His, good news, we can be in God's favor with that desire, favor being salvation. He gives sight to the blind, including insight where we might be obscure in our understanding. We can ask for these things. He can give it to us, or He can be our sight as He guides us. He releases the oppressed. So to me, that means as we begin to feel encumbered, as we're in hot pursuit of the things of this world, it straps me down. It feels there's expectation, there's no guarantee. I don't feel free in those things. When I ask, who will be my peace and my rest? Who will rescue me from myself and my expectations? God says, I am and I will. So as we are waiting in the season of Advent for the full fulfillment of God and everything that He says He will do, know that you're in good company, because I'm waiting too. Happy Advent season, and see you at church.